So, according to few articles, 97% of companies say that good user onboarding is crucial for growth, but only 40% of them are satisfied with their existing user onboarding experience. That means you could be losing customers before they even see your real product. In this video, I'll explain what onboarding really means, why it's super important for growth, and how you can design it in a right way. So stick around because by the end, you will have a clear playbook to make onboarding your product's strongest growth weapon. So let's talk about why onboarding really matters. But there are basically three reasons. Number one is first impression decides everything. Now, this is the important one. People form an opinion about your product in the very first few minutes. So, for example, just think about downloading a finance app. If the sign up is too long or confusing, you'll probably delete it or move to another one. Even if the features are better, you will not look to them. Onboarding is like a first date. If it goes bad, there is no second chance. Right? The two reason is onboarding is equals to retention. But wait, what is retention? Retention means how many users keep coming back to your product after signing up. For example, if 100 people downloaded your SaaS tool today, but only 20 are still active after 30 days. So your 30-day retention rate is 20%. And for most of the SaaS companies, this 20% retention rate is too much, you know? Okay, so now you are clear with the term retention. Let's get back to a second point. Onboarding is equals to retention. That means if user don't quickly see value, they won't come back again. For example, Slack. Slack shows you how to create a channel and send your first message within minutes. That's not random. It's designed so you instantly feel this makes teamwork easier. So good onboarding is not about just teaching every feature. It's about showing the aha moment fast. So here comes third point. Onboarding fuels growth and revenue. Every user who drops during onboarding is lost revenue for most of the companies. For example, Duolingo. Now, Duolingo is not a SaaS example, but let's take it because Duolingo has an amazing onboarding process. So, Duolingo makes you complete your first short lesson within minutes of signing up. That tiny success makes you feel like, wow, I can actually learn a language here. From there, you will more likely to keep coming back, upgrade and recommend it to others. And that's the magic. Onboarding turns sign up into loyal and paying users. And that's matter most for the SaaS companies. When we talk about SaaS onboarding, there isn't just one fixed method. Different companies pick different styles depending on their product, their users, and their goals. To make this easier to understand, I have put them into pyramid model, starting from the most common approach at the base and moving up to the more advanced and engaging methods at the top. Now, this is the foundation of SaaS onboarding. Almost every platform starts here. Think of tooltips, guided walkthroughs, or step-by-step pop-ups that helps a new user to explore the product. For example, Slack and Trello. They don't leave you guessing. They take you by the hand and show exactly where things are. It's the most common method because it reduces friction from the day one. And next, some products take the opposite approach, minimal or even zero onboarding. Instead of walking you through everything, they trust their UI to be intuitive enough that you just dive in. Tools like Airtable or Zapier drop you straight into the action. The design itself is a guide here, so if your product is clean and easy to use, This works brilliantly. Now, going to one step higher, personalization kicks in. Platform like Monday.com or Salesforce don't give the same onboarding to everyone. They ask you about your role, your team size, your goals, and then tailor the experience accordingly. This makes onboarding feel more relevant and save users from exploring features they don't need to start at. And finally, the top of the pyramid, my favorite, making onboarding the fun. Yes, the gamified or milestone based flows add motivation. You get progress bars, the patches, or small wins along the way. For example, HubSpot, Intercom, or even Duolingo do this very well. It's not just about teaching the product, it's about making the journey feel rewarding so users keep forward. And that's a onboarding pyramid from guided tours to gamified milestones. Each layer tells a story of how SaaS companies help users fall in love with their product faster. But understanding model is just one step. Next, let's figure out how we can research and measure what really works out there. So here come two type of researches, secondary research and primary research. Let's talk about secondary research first. Collecting information from existing sources like competitor analysis, articles, already published case studies, benchmarkings, or user reviews. The main goal of secondary research is to understand the industry patterns, the best designs, the best practices, and what already works in the market. For example, study how Notion works, how Slack or Monday.com onboard their users. Primary research, which we generally call first hand research. Now, this is collecting data directly from users through surveys, through interviews, usability testing, or feedback sessions. The general goal for primary research is to understand the real user needs, their struggles, and their expectations as well. For this, you can interview a new SaaS users about where they felt stuck during the first login. So now we are clear with the theory part of the research, but the real adventure starts when we do it in a practical way. Let's dive into a Notion. So Notion is all-in-one workspace for notes, tasks, docs and collaboration. So let's get deep into the Notion, how they are doing their onboarding. So very simple question, is it for work or for your personal use, for team, or you are using it your own, something about yourself? And then that's the point, is they are asking for the templates, what kind of templates you want to use. You select one, you go ahead, and then they ask for some subscriptions and all. You want to buy it, you can, then skip the part if you want to do it not as of now, and boom, you are directly get into the home screen. That's very quick. And let me know in the comment which kind of onboarding it is in. We have explored how other SaaS platforms handle onboarding. It's time to go beyond what's visible and actually talk to users. That's where primary research comes in. It's all about collecting first hand insight straight from the people who go through the onboarding experience themselves. In a very simple terms, secondary research helps you to understand what's out there, while primary research they helps you understand why users behave that way. So here I prepare a questionnaire for the primary research. It's not only important for onboarding, you can use it in any other flow that you are working on. So here is the questionnaire. You need to talk about the first impressions, and here are the following questions. Then you go for the ease of use, the value discovery, collaboration or personalization, and the missing pieces. And mind it, before going for the primary research, you need to do your homework very well. Okay, so most of you, as of now, you will be thinking we get to know why onboarding matters. We already did the research, we did the primary research, we did the secondary, but Miss Product Designer, how do we actually measure this? And here comes the business terms that helps us to actually measure that what is important and what is not. The first thing is the activation rate. Now, this is the percentage of user who complete the critical first actions. For example, sending first message in Slack and creating the first board in Notion. And why is important? Shows if onboarding helps users reach their aha or happy moment. Number two, time to value. How long it takes for a new user to experience the product's core value and why it is important. Faster time to value, that is equals to high retention. You remember retention we talk about? Number three, drop off points. Where in the onboarding flow users quit or disengage. For example, during integration or team invites, you need to figure it out. And why it is important? It helps to identify the friction and bottlenecks for the onboarding. Number four, feature adoption rate. It tracks if user actually use key feature after onboarding. For example, in HubSpot, do they actually send campaigns after setup? And why it is important? Because it indicates whether onboarding translates into a long-term usage so that you can apply this when you're creating onboarding for the next time. And then comes the customer satisfaction. Now we need to collect direct feedback via surveys after onboarding. And why it is also important? We need to show qualitative side as well. Are users happy and likely to stay with the SaaS platform, or isn't that not the case? After keeping all the points into consideration, we reach a takeaways from our research. Number one, we learned about Notion. It wins by personalization and templates, and finally, it reduced the cognitive load. For Slack, it wins by collaboration first onboarding. That means network activation drives stickiness. And just for a general insights, user value personalization over generic flows, team onboarding multiplies adoption, gamified or milestone approaches reduce drop off in multi-step setups, and minimal onboarding works best for simple task oriented tools. By the way, doc is in the description, so go check it out. But wait, after completely watching this video, and now the crucial part comes, a drum roll. The execution. What if we just research and don't implement it? No, we'll do that as well here. So let's start the implementation part. So for implementation, I find out a problem statement with the help of ChatGPT, and it gave me the problem statement around the onboarding flow only that we are talking about. So it gave me a Collab Desk. Now Collab Desk is a SaaS platform, a project collaboration tool from small to mid teams. That means the target audience is early stage startup people, right? So if we talk about the specifications a bit, the target audience, that is 3 to 15 members team, because early stage startups have this much strength only. So now it may happen that they can be non-technical founders or the early employees, right? And their basic focus is setting up quickly, inviting teammates, seeing collaboration value instantly. So we need to take care of this while we were working on the onboarding flow. So key goal of onboarding that we talked earlier: personalization, team activation, first task completion, feature awareness, and time to value. Now these are the constraints and challenges that I define based from the problem statement that I got from ChatGPT. Now we need to avoid long forms. That means that sign up should be less than 3 steps, and this is very crucial point. And now we need to balance minimal onboarding and guided onboarding. So not too heavy and not too empty. We need to reduce drop-off rates at invite teammates step, because this is the step where most of people just drop off from your platform, and then we don't want to go for this part, right? So make it optional but rewarding. If they did it, we need to show what they did in a celebration way. So a framed challenge is, how might we design an onboarding flow for collab desk that balance speed and guidance, reduce drop off rates, and ensure user experience collaboration value within their first 10 minutes. Okay, so now that we understand the core problem, teams struggle to feel the value early. The next step is to see how other tools in the market approach the onboarding. So I picked three popular collaboration tools like Asana, Trello, and Notion, because if someone is going to ditch them and use Collab Desk, we better learn what's working and what's not. So first learning, Asana keeps onboarding minimal. Just a few quick questions and boom, you are in the workspace. But collaboration still starts later. Second, Trello. Trello jumps straight into the product, fast, but no personalization is there. Users land in a default board that doesn't feel like their workspace. And Notion, very flexible, but onboarding is almost too empty. Users get confused about where to start. So here's the pattern that I notice. Speed matters, but users still need some guidance, and almost everyone asks users to invite teammates too late. So my insight from these analyses is, the first aha moment should come from team activation, not from browsing the UI alone. Okay, we learn from the market that speed plus teamwork is equals to higher activation. But before we design anything, we need to understand exactly who we are designing this onboarding for. So Collab Desk is built for early stage startup teams, usually 3 to 15 people, where everyone does a bit of everything. So the founder is usually the first person signing up. So their goals are very simple. They want quick setup, they want their team in the tool as ASAP, and they want to see the progress fast. But their emotional journey during the onboarding looks something like this: exciting to try something new, confused when asked too many questions, and bored if they land in an empty workspace, frustrated if they can't bring team in easily, and happy only when collaboration actually starts. That tells us the first aha moment doesn't happen when the founders sign up. It only happens when the team joins and work begin together. So our onboarding goal becomes super clear here. We need to personalize workspace quickly, encourage the team invite early but don't force them, guide them to create their first project or task, and celebrate their first team collaboration action. So this emotional journey becomes the core of the Collab Desk onboarding. Great. Alright, now I'm starting with quick wireframe. No color, no fancy visual, just structure and logic. Here I define what the user sees first, what action I want them to take, and how fast they can move to the next step. I usually begin with the big blocks. Left side for value messaging and visuals, right side for single clear question and input. Frames help me keep everything scalable and consistent on every screen. So this stage is all about thinking faster than polishing, because once the flow feels right, UI comes naturally later. So the goal right now is make the journey simple, effortless and obvious. Now that we are done with competitor benchmarking, the wireframing and taking a quick UI inspiration tool from Dribbble and Behance, it's the time to move into the real hero, product level clarity. Because the best saviors aren't just pretty shots on the internet, they are the real products already working in the market. So I looked closely at Asana, Monday.com, Trello, and I noticed a pattern. Most SaaS tools use two slides in onboarding. One side for visuals, the why, and the other side of input is the actions. But here, where Collab Desk takes a smarter path, Asana and Trello often prioritize the form side visually. That works when user already knows about the product, but Collab Desk is for early stage startups, so people who need a little more reason before they act, right? So the graphics on the right side to for communicating, like, hey, this is why you are here and this is what you will achieve. And right side, focused, one single question per screen, so no overwhelm, just progress. That's the psychological difference: motivation first and decision next. That's why we choose this approach. So alright, let's get deeper into Figma. Here's you will see I started with wireframes, short layout nodes pinned right next to the design because context saves my time. I always keep everything visible so I never break the flow. And one tiny UX detail that I love, the floating label fields, where the title sits inside the input, and once you type it smoothly shifts above the field, right? It's a minute interaction that happens, and it is very powerful. Now a little about how I design. I stay organized using frames always. Frames make everything scalable, responsive, and developers friendly. And also a note, right now I'm not stressing about colors, shadows, or super polished UI, because once UX is cracked, UI naturally evolves, as I said earlier as well, especially when the actual company has its own design system, right? Time check, this took me around an hour with like 4 to 5 small tweaks based on feedback loops with, yes, AI, right? ChatGPT and a few other tools help me sharpen the flow faster, especially while deciding what content belongs where. And here's a beautiful tip: if you want better ideas from AI, be very specific. Tell the tool who the user is, what they want, and what decision they must make on each screen. That's how you get the raw UX judgment and not the random fluff. And this is how the UX and the UI is ready now: clean, simple, purpose driven, designed to get user collaborating in less than 10 minutes. So let's move to the next stage. And yeah, that's wrap up our Collab Desk onboarding flow. I have also added a clean documentation file, so if you want the full breakdown, you will find everything linked right below. If there's one takeaway from today's onboarding part, don't teach the product, let users experience it, its value within minutes. That first aha moment is what turns a sign up into active users. So thank you very much for watching till the end. You are the real MVPs here. So tell me in the comment section what else you would love to learn. Maybe more about AI workflows, maybe a deeper UX foundation, because I am just getting started. More content is coming, especially for the product designers who want to grow in this crazy AI era. So stay connected, keep designing smarter, and I will see you in the next one. So this is Miss Product Designer signing off.